Hey, so Rory wanted to create a text layer that would fit inside the tail of this, what I've now found out is a Pikachu. It's a similar technique to the technique that people use when they use text to create faces and objects. So as you can see with this image right here, it's created his shirt with text. It's pretty pixelated, I know. He's created quite a bit with text. This image is actually a little bit better. It would have been a vector drawing originally, and then they've made paths around the different sections, and then they've added text to those paths. So I'm going to show you in this video how to do that. Now, some of you will have noticed I'm using Creative Suite 4, but it looks a little bit like Creative Suite 3. I'm pretty sure I put a video up about that, so I'm not going to go through it again. You can just go and look at that at your own leisure. So this is the image that I've got, and I want to create text that fits inside the tail. Now, I could do the painful process of making little text boxes and trying to fit them in, but it's just not going to do the trick. It's never going to fit quite the way we want to. What we need to do is we need to create a path, and the path comes under the vector masking tools, which are all down here on the toolbar. The pen tool in particular has an option bar where usually the shape selector is selected, and the option to the right of that is the path, so I'm going to click that, and at that point my options on the far right are to add to the path, take away from the path, or intersect and exclude. So we don't need to go into them. We do want to add to the path. So quite simply, I'm going to choose a starting point, and I'm going to click, and then I'm just going to keep clicking all the way around this tail to create a path. Now, if I had the shape tool selected, this would all be filling in a different colour at this point in time. So quite thankfully I don't. Now when I get back to the start, the pen tool actually has a little circle come up by it. I don't know whether you can see that. Let's zoom in a little bit for you. That little circle that comes up, that means that the path's completed. Now I can click on any one of them notches right now by clicking on the pen and going to convert point tool, clicking where the point was, and then I can make what's known as a bezier. So what's happening there is actually making a curve on the line. Now the more points you plot, the more accurate you can be, and when you're doing things like faces with path text, it's a lot easier to do. Just bear with us, my dog's about to go wild. Well, she's quite well behaved. Okay, so I've made a path. I'm going to hit enter to confirm my changes, but you can't see a path. Turn off the layer, you still can't see a path. However, if I go into my paths and select it, you can see the path. So that paths menu is usually hidden in one of the tabs by the layers menu. Turn that layer back on, you can just about see the outline of the path. Now, to get the text inside, it's really quite simple. You grab the text tool, you make sure you've got a colour that stands out, so I'm going to use red, and you go towards the line. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on with the shape of the icon. At the moment I've got a T in a box. When I get to the line, I get a swirly line come underneath it. If I actually click on that line, I can type directly onto the line, and I can type all the way around that line until I come back to the start, and eventually I'll run out of room. So really quick, really simple. I've just plotted text around a path, and if I turn off the Pikachu, there's the shape of its tail. Alright, now could have been more accurate, granted, but I wasn't. So when we look at an image like this, for example, you can see quite quickly how they've set up those paths. They've set the text on a path, they've created the path with the pen. The path doesn't need to go all the way back to the start, it can just be one fluid motion, and then they've typed across that path. Really quite simple. Where the effect has come in is by changing the size of the font and the spacing of the font. Now if you want to type inside a path, again, it is actually almost as simple as what we just did. I'm just going to turn off that text layer, and I'm going to go and select my work path, otherwise I'm trying to work with the same path. We get my text tool again, so we've got the T tool in a box, we've got the T with a line through it, and if we just go inside, we get a T with a circle. If I now click, I can now type inside the tail of the Pikachu, with probably bad spelling mistakes. If I zoom out, you're going to be able to see that it's fitted inside the tail. Now you can see if I turn that tail off and I put the other text layer on, that it is within the tail, but it's probably not filling as much space as we want. To control that, we want to go into our character settings. If you can't see that, you want to go into your window menu and check on character. Now there's loads of stuff you can change here. We can change the size of the font for starters. As another hint, when you're doing this, make sure that you've got the move tool selected rather than in text editing mode, and at that point you can affect all the text in one go. We can change the width of the letters, and as you can see, that's changing where everything goes straight away. Let's open that back up. We can go into the paragraph settings and tell it to align fully, and at that point it'll automatically align itself to the edges of that bounding box. We can change the height of the text if we really want to. We can change the line spacing, which has been known to make it crash, which I'm pretty sure has just killed it right over again. Damn it, that's a font. So I've just crashed Photoshop, but I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, fortunately. Yeah, that's 100% dead. So creating text within paths, quite simple. Create your path with the pen tool, select the path in the path menu, grab your text tool, hover over that path. If you've got the T with the line underneath it, you can actually type onto the path. If you've got a T with a circle over it, you can type inside the path. Play with your character settings, although if you're on Mini and Pro, don't try and adjust the line spacing because it's likely to have a little moment and then crash. As you can see, I've got a computer to deal with to try and fix Photoshop. This tutorial's over. Email me or Facebook me or get a message to me if there's any more videos you want.